Hey, what's up, WCReplays.com? This is Orange doing part 2 of his audio compilation. Please get the replay pause at the 45-second mark ASAP, because I really don't want to pregame this much, because it is a very long replay. So, get prepared for some awesomeness, because there's lots of awesomeness to go around with this replay. It is that spectacular. So pretty much what's going to happen is I'm going to be talking a lot about base builds and how Lynn's base build and such play into how he fends off the tower push, which is really what I want to get into mostly in this replay, is defending the tower push, fending off the tower push, getting rid of it, I guess. And there are multiple ways to do it, but there's only going to be a couple that I'm going to discuss, because I only feel like talking about a couple of ways. So, hopefully you're at the 45-second mark. If you're not, don't worry about it. You can pause the audio part, I guess. So, let's go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause, 46, 47. Okay, cool. So, pretty much Lynn's base build is pretty open right now, and what he's got going is kind of an offensive base build. And really what this means is his burrows are fairly open. Like right here, the barracks is pretty far out. Usually, if you want to be doing a defensive base build, your barracks is going to be a little tighter to your, to your lumber peons. That way, the barracks can actually protect your peons. Also, your burrows might be a little further back. And generally what Lynn's going to be doing is pretty much putting a voodoo lounge next to his barracks, and then putting his burrows right there, and kind of lining them up in a nice, spectacular little way. The only problem with this is if the human player decides to come and harass you and kill off your voodoo lounge, your peons are wide open to being harassed. So all you really have to do is hope that you can hide them well enough in your burrows and do the whole repair cycle thing well enough to fend him off, and then, panic about that. Otherwise, you can wait till tier 2 and hopefully set up a bestiary there. Excuse me. Generally, what Orc does anyways is harasses the human, so you're pretty much safe to, not really worry about your peons as long as you're doing most of the harassment. So, as you can see, Lynn's going to be doing something pretty smart and awesome, I guess, at the same time, is he's going to be creeping with his 2 wolves and his grunt. And really, it's just to get a head start on his EXP, so that he can hit tier 2 and basically do some creep snipes, which is really the greatest thing about, the Farseer's Chain Lightning. As you can see, Todd is pretty much almost done creeping out the Goblin Laboratory, and generally what's going to happen is the human's going to be able to finish pretty much all but 2 or 3 creeps by the time you get there anyways. So really all you're going to be able to do is, focus down a couple peasants or maybe the weak water elemental, and that's pretty much all you can really get done. Generally, the main purpose of this in the first place is to, slow down their tech or gain a little bit of experience, and basically you want to slow down their creeping, ultimately. So really what you want to do is kind of wither down the Archmage's, hit points. And what you do is you don't want to go straight in and go okay, I'm going to kill the Archmage now. Really what you want to do is you want to be patient. You want to spend pretty much your entire tech focusing down that Archmage. So you don't want to take too much damage on your Farseer, so that you can, keep doing as much damage as possible with your wolves to the Archmage. So now I said I was going to talk about Todd's base build, and really it's kind of an anti-Blade Master base build. Reason being is there's really only one opening for a hero to be able to go through, and that's the opening next to the altar and the farm. And really what this allows him to do is trap the Blade Master inside of his base. Say the Blade Master's harassing his peons, he can get all of his footies in there and start building a farm, and he won't, in that little area, and he won't be able to get out. And poor little Blade Master is going to get raped. So that's pretty much how Todd built his base build. This isn't really a Blade Master map, so I wouldn't really recommend going with the Blade Master. So once again, Lynn is doing kind of a good job of keeping his Farseer out of complete harm. only thing I'd say is he's taken a lot of damage, but really he's doing a fairly good job. The only thing that I have to comment on is, once again, like the Rotterdam replay, if you actually watched that one, the Archmage still did hit level 3, which sucks, but yes, you know, such is life. But really, the best way to wither down the Archmage's, hit points is to actually catch them while they're creeping, because this way, their Archmage is always going to be in the back, because their Water Elemental is going to be dealing, or I guess tanking all of the damage anyways. So all you really have to worry about is, getting over there and doing some damage. So Archmage hits level 3 with another wolf kill, just like the last game, which is sad. And, it's kind of a pain in the ass, really, once they hit level 3, because then they have so much more HP to tank with, and it makes them so much easier, for creeping. So Lin does a smart thing. He doesn't commit to going inside of Todd's base, because really, once you get inside of his base, you're screwed. Really, with the amount of militia that he has to utilize, he can really do some damage to all of your grunts and maybe get some surrounds. One thing that he did do is stall the Arcane Vault. Really, this just allows you to deal more damage to the Archmage, and hopefully they won't get it up in time to really save their hero, or maybe you can waste their TP. This is pretty much the only two options that you have when, you're trying to beat them off when they don't have an Arcane Vault. So, once again, good use of, or not once again, what am I talking about? Good use of Chain Lightning by Lin. Really, you want to be using the Chain Lightning to finish off units. It just makes it hard to micro, because if you do it at the beginning of the battle, they can still go, oh, this unit is weak, I'll pull it back. But, once you Chain Lightning it, it's kind of over. So, Beastmaster comes out for Todd, and also Tauren Chieftain comes out for Lin. One thing to point out, Lin has the Watchtower going up. I'll get to that in a second. He's put his Bestiary in the back and his Spirit Lodge out front. Reason being is that the Spirit Lodge isn't actually as important to countering the human. You really, really want your Raiders, because Raiders are probably the most important aspect of the Orc army that you can have with you. It just allows you to get so much better positioning, and it makes your speed scrolls worthwhile, because you can ensnare and speed scroll over and actually get some really nice positioning on their units. So, kind of interesting use of speed scroll. I probably wouldn't have used it there. The only thing right now he's worried about is the massive amounts of summons. 2 Water Elementals and 2 Quillbeasts are enough to scare the crap out of me. So yeah, the Spirit Lodge isn't as important. All it really does is give you Dispel, which is kind of a counter to his casters, or to his spells, as opposed to, a damage counter to his casters. So he kind of put the most important building in the back, and then his Spirit Lodge out front. Now, generally, I like to research Ensnare before getting a Raider, because without Ensnare, Raiders are kind of useless, and if you lose the Raider, you kind of have to wait until you get your next Raider anyways, so I just kind of wait until, my Ensnare is done to start building my Raiders. But, the Watchtower out front really allows, or it really limits the amount of areas that Todd can tower push. And the great thing about this is that, the only part that he can really tower push is the part where his Spirit Lodge is. So once again, he has kind of put it at risk of being killed. But he can either, put his towers near the Spirit Lodge and hopefully, get rid of 1 or 2 buildings like the Altar of Storms, or he can put them near the trees, which won't really do any damage to his buildings, because, the Watchtower actually has the most range out of all of the towers in the entire game. Well, besides the Arcane Tower, which is pretty similar. So, once again, Lin's done a good job of always having a speed scroll with him, which is always a good thing to have, especially against Sorceress, because, everything's slowed. You might as well maximize your speed. But the other great thing that the Watchtower is good for is the fact that, when they do tower push you, they can't get too close to your base, which means the towers are kind of useless, and all they really are good for is containing you inside your base. Now, if you get outside your base, they really can't push you inside of your base, and especially with the nice positioning of this Watchtower, because, all that can really hit it is 1 or 2 breakers, maybe 1 or 2 footies, the heroes and the sorcerers, and of course the summons. And, with all the damage that the Watchtower is doing, you can pick off 1 or 2 of the casters anyways. So